Hi guys, it's me, Trudy Lee. How's everybody doing? Well, I haven't been on for a while because I've been going through some stuff with my husband. But first of all, I wanted to address Princess Catherine. God bless her. So she is going through cancer treatment. Now, I told you I saw her surgery that they were like, it was like picking things out, instead of a big surgery where you just cut something away. It was just, I just could see like where things are being removed, pick, pick, pick. So maybe that was the cancer that was being removed, in areas. She's a very private person, and when someone's very private, you'll find that they're harder to read because they're private, and we have to respect that. We have to respect that they don't want, their business put out there. But like I said, she could easily come out and say something and just stop all the speculation, and she did that. So prayers to her. I pray that she heals quickly, and God bless her and her family. That's very difficult situation for them, what they're going through right now. Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys what's been happening around my house here. So Thursday night, I woke up about 2 o'clock in the morning, which is not unusual. I'll sleep for a couple hours and then I wake up. So I woke up and I turned on the TV, and about 2:30, my husband gets up and he sits right here on this bench. And I'm like, what are you doing? And, he had that rotator cuff surgery. And if you've ever had rotator cuff, laying down in the bed can make your shoulder really hurt. So he was like, my arm is hurting and I don't feel good. I'm just not feeling good. So he sits there for a little while and he says, I think I'm having a heart attack. And I'm like, you're not having a heart attack. Come on. And I went to him and I put my hands on him and, started praying for him and doing a healing session for him. And he perspired a little bit, but it was kind of warm in our room, and he sweats very easily. But when he had a heart attack when he was 40, and he sweat. And I've seen him before when his heart's under stress, sweat bullets. I mean, just bullets. So he perspired just a little bit, but not a big sweat. So I'm like, you're not really sweating, are you? And we sat there for a while, and we have a blood pressure machine. Took his blood pressure a few times. He took one of his blood pressure medications because his blood pressure was high. So he took another one. I gave him 4 baby aspirins, and I continued just putting my hands on him and praying for him. And his blood pressure would go down, and then it would go back up, and it would go down and go back up. And then he started to get dizzy. He said, I'm getting kind of dizzy. I'm not feeling good. I don't feel good. I think we better go to the hospital. So I said, okay, let's go to the hospital, We got dressed, took him to the hospital. So we got to the hospital at 4 o'clock. So he woke up at 2:30. We sat there for a while, and then we drove to the hospital, which it's a good ways away, but it's on the freeway. So it only takes like 25 minutes to get there, something like that. So anyway, we got there by 4 o'clock. Methodist Hospital in San Antonio, they are supreme. They're wonderful. He got the best care. We walked in there. We went straight into triage. I'm telling you, they had a line put in him. I blinked an eye, and they were running a line. They did an EKG within the first 2 minutes that he was there, and they said he was an AFib. They said he's an AFib, and they put him in a treatment room, and they were all ready for him. So they were going to get him out of AFib, and they were going to inject him with some medicine, So the doctor came and everything. The doctor was there immediately when we walked in. He was right there. And you know how the doctors are. They're not hands-on. They don't listen to the doc. They just look at the test results and they tell everybody what to do. They just stand there. They don't do anything. They don't touch you. It's kind of weird, but that's how they work now. They don't touch their patients at all. But he knew exactly what to do, so that was perfect. So they injected him with some medicine, and I guess it's a beta blocker is what they gave him, a big dose of it, and wasn't really helping. It didn't really do what it's supposed to. And so they gave him something else on top of it. And when they did that, I just had this sinking feeling when I was watching them inject that. I just felt like something bad was going to happen. I just was like, this isn't good. I'm so careful with medicine, and I worry about taking too much medicine and, everything that you're given. So he's laying there, and all of a sudden he says, I'm getting dizzy. I'm getting dizzy. And the whole staff came running, and, he's on a heart monitor and everything, and I'm watching it, and his heart rate went to 0. And the line, and it was only, his heart paused, but only for a couple of seconds. It wasn't long enough to have to, electrocute, shock his heart or anything. But they put the paddles on him, and they were ready. They were wired up, ready to go. It happened 4 times, y'all. 4 times. The last time that it happened, and he was still in AFib. Every time this happened, he was still in AFib. And it happened, and he had a 4-second pause on the last time. And that was super scary. And his heart rate shot up to like 170, then went back down, way down, and then went back up. And then it just, boom, it fixed the heart. The heart just got out of AFib, but it was a horrible ride, I'll tell you that. I was shaking so bad. I'm a pretty calm person. I like to think that I can handle a lot. But when it comes to your own loved one and you're watching them, you're not ready to say goodbye forever to somebody that you love. It was so scary, y'all. I was just shaking. The first time that it happened, I called my daughter and I said, you need to come to the hospital. I cannot even tell y'all how scary it was. Honestly. So, when people talk to me all the time and they're going through a lot of things, and I can say that I understand how they feel because I've been through a lot with my husband. But I have to tell y'all, this was the scariest. That last time that he had a pause, I wasn't sure if he was going to come back. So, yeah. Excuse me. I clicked myself. But he really scared me. But he's doing good now. So it is Saturday night. So today, we were there all day Friday. So that was all day long Friday. We were in the emergency room. They didn't get a room for him until, I think, 8:30 at night. So I had been there. I had slept for 2 hours, and I had been there for like 14 hours in the emergency room with him. It was tremendous. I ended up going home, I think at 9 o'clock, something like that, 9 o'clock at night. I went home. He got a room and everything. They got him situated. And then this morning, they were doing some tests on him. They were going to do a stress test this morning, a nuclear stress test, and tomorrow they're going to do an echocardiogram. But what they've decided to do, and y'all remember, he went to be evaluated for a pacemaker, and he wore a heart monitor for a week in January, and they said, oh, he's okay, he's fine. He didn't have any pauses for that week, so that he didn't have any problems. So they thought he's fine. He doesn't need it. So they decided first they were going to do ablation, cardiac ablation, where they go in and kind of a high frequency, kind of like a burn, like a microwave, go in there to the areas that they know cause AFib, and then kind of, kill off some of those cells, I guess, burn off some of those cells that are causing the bad signal, so that his heart can pump in rhythm. So they said, that's what we're going to do. The cardiologist that evaluated him for a pacemaker said, we're going to do ablation. And I'm probably going to, schedule him next week for it. He can come to the office and we'll schedule it. Okay, fine. Well, then went back and looked at all the data, and he looked at the test that was done today, the stress test that was done today, and he said, nope, you're a fine candidate for a pacemaker. Changed my mind. I looked at everything, and I think you need a pacemaker. So now we're going back with the pacemaker. And he's going to have that procedure done on Monday. So they kept him there at the hospital, and they kept him there not because he couldn't come home, but it's all insurance. It's already been approved. He's already there. He's already had the test. He can have an echocardiogram tomorrow, and then on Monday he'll be set and ready to get the procedure done. Then they'll keep him another 24 hours, and he'll come home on Tuesday. So that's what we're dealing with. But he's in such good spirits. Now his heart rate is at 60, 62. It's staying there. His blood pressure's a little bit high, but his heart rate's really good, and everything, he's in good spirits. He's joking around. He's feeling really good. So y'all wouldn't even know there's anything wrong with him. So he's good. So now we just need to get the pacemaker in and get him home. So, and they said maybe later on, if he needs it, he can always have that ablation later, like a month or two later. But they feel like that the pacemaker is, a better choice. And the reason why they're doing that is because he was taking medicine. He was taking a beta blocker, and it was making his heart rate go really, really low to where he was getting dizzy. And so they took him off that beta blocker, and then he went into AFib. So they said, you need the beta blocker, and then you need the pacemaker to make sure your heart rate doesn't get too low. So if it gets too low, it can, give a signal to the heart to pump a little faster. So I told my husband, because he's had stents put in since, he was 40. When he turned 40, he had angioplasty. That was before the stents. And then he had stents put in. And then he had the medical stents that were coated with medicines for scar tissue and all. And then he had quadruple bypass. Remember in 2020, he had quadruple bypass. He had rotator cuff surgery. He's had 2 back surgeries. He's had a stomach aneurysm. I mean, he's had all kinds of stuff wrong with him. And I told him, I said, you are bound determined to try out all the technology these doctors have. It seems like he loves going to the doctor. He feels so comfortable when he's in the hospital and with the doctor, because he feels like, I'm in the best place I can be. I'm in good hands. I know that they're going to save me. I know they're going to help me. And he relaxes when he goes to the doctor or when he's in the hospital. He's like, okay, they're going to take care of me. And for me, when I go something like that, I feel nervous. I feel like I have to let go, I have to let somebody else control me. I'm giving up my control. And even though he seems like he's more of a controlling person than I am, but when it comes to just my body and anybody touching it or doing anything, I don't know. I don't like it. No, I know nobody does, but I don't feel like relaxed and comfortable to be in that situation where I have to have care from a doctor or from a hospital or anything. I just want to get the heck out of there as quick as possible. I'm sure he does too, but I'm glad he can relax. It's very important to relax and know that you're being taken care of, because he really is. And you guys, care can come from so many different ways, and we all have lessons to learn. So maybe the lesson here is not all the time can you receive healing without actually going to the doctor, without actually going to the hospital and doing something to receive that healing. So maybe that doctor, that's part of the process. That doctor's learning something by healing you and taking care of you. You're learning something. Your children are learning something by seeing you go through this, maybe cherishing you more, appreciating you more. There's so many things that factor in that, when we have a loved one that is having an issue. So we all appreciate our loved ones a little more when we see that something might happen to them, right? So there's a lot of lessons here. A lesson for me knowing that there's only so much we can do to help our loved ones, and we have to let them make choices for themselves, and that's where free will comes into play. He knew he needed to go to the hospital. He knew he needed help, and we have to respect that and understand that everybody knows what they need. If you listen to your own intuition, you know what you need. Listen to it. If you feel like you need to go to the hospital, you need to go. Don't depend on being healed. You know, go with your gut feeling, what you need to do, or even what you're being urged to do. If somebody's sitting right beside you saying, you need to go to the hospital, then you maybe ought to listen to him and go to the hospital. Y'all remember he fell in the shower just a couple of weeks back. So this man has got me on my toes, I tell you. He really does. I came home from the hospital yesterday. Like I said, I left at 9 o'clock, so I got home about 9:30. I talked to my children for a little while. By 10 o'clock, I was in this bed asleep. I could not stay awake. I was just so exhausted. But I woke up at 4 o'clock. So, I got 5 or 6 hours sleep, probably like maybe 5.5, because I didn't go right to sleep. But I was just extremely tired. And at 4 o'clock, I woke up because I had a coffee withdrawal headache. Put it that, caffeine withdrawal. I didn't have any coffee on Thursday. Thursday we got up, we went, in the middle of the night to the hospital. We were there. We didn't eat. We didn't drink, nothing. We were there at the hospital the whole day. And he couldn't eat or drink anything, so we didn't, And I didn't have any coffee, so I woke up with this pounding headache at 4 o'clock in the morning. I really needed to sleep a little more, but I could not go back to sleep with this pounding headache. So I got up and took 2 Advil and made coffee. So I made sure I had 2 cups of coffee before I left the house this morning. I left the house at 6 o'clock. I was at the hospital by 6:30. My husband was sound asleep when I opened the door, and I just went and sat down beside him, and he never even heard me. He was out of it. He was in such a deep sleep, and I was there for probably an hour and almost an hour and a half. And then the nurse, I think the nurse came in to do something, Hi, I'm your nurse for the day. She had to introduce herself. And my husband was sound asleep. And I'm not saying anything bad about her at all. She was a fantastic nurse, great nurse. She's doing her job. But she woke him up to introduce herself. She didn't really have anything major to do with him. And she said, what is your hobby? I'd like to get to know my patients. What's your hobby? And my husband just looked at her like, what are you talking about? He was so confused. You know what he told her? He said, my hobby is to get out of this hospital so I can sleep. But he was groggy, he was just sleepy. So hopefully he's sleeping now. Like I said, it's 10:40 right now. So hopefully he's getting some rest, getting some sleep. I'm not going to go there as early as I did yesterday morning because he was having that test. I wanted to be there for that test and everything. So I'll take it easy and go later in the morning, not at 6 o'clock. So, yeah. So anyway, thank y'all for tuning in and listening. That's what's going on in my life. I will be back for sure and do some more readings. If you would like me to do healing sessions, readings, or anything, please keep them coming. I still want to work, need to work, and love to work and help you guys. So if there's anything that you need, any kind of energy work that you need, if you need a healing session, if you need a clearing for your home or yourself or chakra balancing, I'd be happy to do that. And it's a good distraction too. And I need that. I need to keep my mind working and do things for other people. So ask me to help. That's what I'm here for, and that's what I love doing. And thank y'all for making me feel worthy and of service to you guys. You see Frazier over there? Addie Cat is probably under this bench. I think she was a little mad and confused that her daddy didn't come home last night. She did not get on the bed with me last night at all. I'm like, you little brat. I guess she was like, where's my daddy? And we weren't home all day at all. So we always play with her right before bedtime, and I didn't play with her last night at all. She has a bunch of toys on the floor and little sticks and all kinds of stuff, and we play with her for 15 or 20 minutes before bed every night. But last night I was so tired I didn't play with her, so she wouldn't get on the bed with me. Usually my husband plays with her really, really good before bed. I'll play with her a little bit, and then he takes over, and she purrs like mad when she's playing with him. And she doesn't purr when she's playing with me. I don't know. He plays rough with her, and I don't play that rough, but she loves it. She purrs like mad when he plays rough with her. I won't play that rough. I'm doing something wrong because she's not purring, but I just can't play that rough with her. He like pounds the stick. He doesn't hit her with it, but there's a little toy on the end, and he bangs it on the floor really hard and everything, and she loves it. She does. But she's here somewhere. Addie Cat, where are you? I don't know. I think she's under here. She's so jealous of Frazier. When Frazier, gets on my bed or comes around me or anything, she'll leave. She goes away. She is not a competitive cat at all. If you want her food, she'll give it to you. If you want my attention, she'll let you have my attention. She'll give my attention away to him. She will not compete at all. She's just a lover. She's not a fighter. Anyway, here she is. I paused it and I went and found her. She was underneath the bench. Say hi. That's my big girl. She's getting mad. Put her down. Anyway, that's Addie Cat. Y'all know how she is. All right, guys, do something kind for somebody. It'll always come back to you. Love you so much. Take care. I look forward to hearing from y'all soon. Bye for now.